Alright, welcome to the new and improved character creator for Five Torches Deep. You know the drill, we'll go File, make a copy. I've already done that here. Top left it'll show the order you're supposed to do this in, but that's the order this is in, so it's fine. Today we're going to make a Dwarf Warrior, so this will automatically punch in the stats that the Dwarf automatically gets and then tells you at the top here what to roll. So, we'll do that. And then the class, we're going to do Warrior. We're going to make him a level 4, so I can show you something. I didn't have this before, so there's an ability to score improvements that now are just a little easier to add. So level 4, you get one. And it also kind of just shows you a little more comprehensively everything you get. So we're going to make a Barbarian. And make his HP a little bigger. Now, if you see a false like this, it's just because it's loading data. Just click off, come back. It should be fine. Now, specials here, these are still class dependent, making it a little easier. You already know how these work. Just make sure that this number is less than that number. So for the load, make sure that's less than 15. My supplies need to be less than 8. Character sheet. This is where most of the things get compiled, and the sheet that you're going to use pretty much the whole time. This is supposed to be a little more user-friendly. So on the left here, this is everything you chose. And the reason I did that is because the load is only automatically adds things here and things here. So we'll go ahead and do that. Put everything in that we chose in the character generator. Alright. Now over here on the weapons, we are going to choose a crossbow. And the reason I want to do this is because over here on the crossbow, this is a 1d12 plus dex or wisdom, whichever is higher. And you'll notice this automatically figures out which one it should be choosing. So, for example, my dexterity is currently 0, wisdom's -2, but if I go back to the generator, and I'm like, oh, my wisdom is now an 18, so I get a +4, I come back, it automatically figures out that it needs to make this a +4 now. And then I'll say I have a dagger and a hatchet, those get added. I have heavy armor and a shield. If I was, and this works pretty good, so if I was like, oh, okay, I'm using the crossbow, that's a two-handed weapon, which means I can't use the shield, so I can just delete that. And then it figures out my AC right here. There's also a skill sim if I was near a player that had the, I think it's called Phalanx. I think it adds +2 AC when you're near them. So you could add a 2. That'll automatically add that to your AC, and then if I had the shield, that's a 19. And it works pretty nice. If you have no armor, just make sure you choose none, and that will automatically figure out based on your dexterity +10. So, yeah, you'd get that. HP is mostly automatically calculated. There's just some minor rolling you have to do. So, we'll do an equal sum. We are level 4, and I know the warrior has a hit die of a d10. So the way this works is you don't roll for the first one. Because we're level 4, we'll roll for levels 2, 3, and 4, so that's 3 rolls of a d10. We got a 6 plus something. Plus a 9 plus a 1. And then, because I chose the class feature up here, which is a 6, we punch that in too, and now there it is. This will automatically figure out our constitution multiplied by our level, and then it adds our base class HP plus our rolled HP, which is our rolled plus whatever else we added into that. Over here is our proficiencies, so if I do a, let's say, a will roll or an intimidation roll, I can add my proficiency modifier up here into that. Also, there's all these other things, so retainers, for example, is based on the charisma score. So, yeah, if you have a fortress or something, because that's how you're playing it, you would be able to have 11 NPC followers working at that fortress for you. And same thing with things like magic items. It can't be less than 1. That's reflected here, even though I only have a 0 in my ability mod for charisma. It doesn't go less than 1. Over here, these top 4 are probably the most important, just because in your weapons, in the attack roll, you have to add this manually. As a warrior, I'm proficient with all weapons. The crossbow's ranged, so my proficient ranged is dexterity plus proficiency, so that's only a 2. I can put that in. My dagger would be a 4 because I get a +2 on strength and +2 on proficiency, but that's automatically added here. Proficiency melee is a 4. Same with the hatchet. And that just makes it easy. So when I go rolling, I know everything I need to know, pretty much. Yeah, and that's all good and dandy. The spells are also much cleaner now. I'll show you how those work. I am now a level 12 mage now. 9. We'll choose some spells. I'm going to make this a little messy by not choosing it at the top. I'll show you why. Just choose whatever. Back to the character sheet. You'll notice these aren't kind of lined up directly underneath their respective levels. And it's not the biggest deal. The easiest way to fix this would be like, oh, I want my lexicon at the top, so I'll put it at the top. This is not really that much of a problem because most people will go top to bottom. And then when you go back here, boom, top to bottom. It's really easy. It's not that big a deal, but it's something to keep in mind. Cantrips I was wrong about. So you can only pick 3, but I've made it pretty easy to keep track of that. So we can be like this, 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 and yeah, that just shows what we have selected. Over here, Arcane Magic and Spell DC. These are just quick references. So Arcane Magic is based on intelligence, which for me is a 0. So if I was to roll a d20, let's say I wanted to cast Lexicon. I roll a d20 and it has to surpass 10 plus the spell level. So in this case, it would be 13 because it's a level 3 spell. I rolled 7. 7 plus 0 is 7. And I would have failed that spell DC. So the way that works is I forget this spell until my next, I think it's a long rest or a safe rest. But yeah. That's pretty much everything. Actually, well, in the final version, I'll have tick boxes at the side so you can keep track of things like which spells you actually have memorized at the moment. And that way it'll be a little easier to keep track of them. And that's everything. See ya.